Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Introduce myself. My name is Alta Hafizun. Here I will present about one of the software used by IT students, namely about this Visual Studio Code. This is the final sem of the English course. As for the thing I want to convey first is the definition of Visual Studio Code, or commonly called VSCode. Second, the function of VSCode. Third, the features in VSCode. Fourth, the advantages. And the last is how to use VSCode. No, no, there is no need to linger anymore. Let's go straight to the first point, namely the definition of Visual Studio Code. Definition of Visual Studio Code application. Visual Studio Code, also commonly referred to as VSCode, is a source code editor made by Microsoft with the Electron framework for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Features include support for debugging, syntax highlighting, intelligent code completion, snippet code refactoring, and embedded Git. Microsoft released the source code for Visual Studio Code in GitHub repository under the MIT license code OS, whereas the binaries built by Microsoft are not released under the MIT license and are proprietary software. Visual Studio Code was first introduced on April 29, 2015 by Microsoft at the Build 2015 conference. Visual Studio Code is a source code editor that uses various programming languages, namely Java, JavaScript, Go, Node.js, Python, and C++ to develop Node.js web application that run on the Node.js engine. Well, that's the definition of Visual Studio Code. Next, we will go to the function Visual Studio Code. Function of VSCode application. Microsoft Visual Studio can be used to develop applications in native code in the form of machine language that runs on Windows, or managed code in the form of Microsoft Intermediate Language on top of the .NET framework. Apart, apart from that, Visual Studio can also be used to develop Silverlight application, Windows mobile application, which run on the .NET Compact framework. After discussing the function of VSCode, we will discuss what features are in VSCode. Features in Visual Studio Code: the first, basic editing, IntelliSense, debugging, extension marketplace, and the last, GitHub integration. First, we will discuss about basic editing. The basic editing features of this software is one of the most complete in its class. Visual Studio Code offers various code formatting to autosave feature to support user need. In addition, the editing process will feel more comfortable, fast, and practical with a number of hotkeys to perform certain commands. For example, copy and paste on one or many lines, search for keyword or file, keyword shortcut, and many other. Second, we will discuss about IntelliSense. The feature is automatically embedded in Visual Studio Code and serves to bring up suggestions for possible code based on the language or database used. By default, IntelliSense only supports HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and TypeScript programming language. Outside of this language, you can download IntelliSense specifically through the extension marketplace if you want to use other programming language. Third, debugging. This feature is useful to make it easier for you to edit, compile, and execute code repeatedly or looping. If an error occurs when writing code, the error message is very clear so you can find out where the error is. Fourth, extension marketplace. The extension marketplace is a feature that makes Visual Code Studio stand out from its competitors. With extension, you can easily install additional tools, debuggers, and even programming languages. For example, Line, Creator, Live Server, Feature, Debugger, and many others. The last, GitHub integration. GitHub is the world's most popular project management platform. Here, you can share code and collaborate with colleagues without having to switch software. It's also very easy to use. You only need to set up a GitHub account, then install GitHub pull requests and issues through the extension marketplace. After discussing about feature and VSCode, well, now we will discuss about advantages of Visual Studio Code. The first available on many platforms. Visual Studio Code can be installed on Linux, Mac OS, and Windows platform. Second, complete feature. Feature completeness is the main advantage of Visual Studio. This is thanks to the extension marketplace, so you can add features freely. Third, fast performance. Visual Studio Code offers super fast performance when running various tasks. In this case, it includes heavy work such as creating Android or iOS application. For support many programming languages, Visual Studio Code support quite a few programming languages. Any language can be used here, whether it is popular or rarely used. Then, well, that's the advent that exists in VSCode. Next, we will discuss how to use VSCode. The first step is to install Visual Studio Code. Step 2 is installing extension. Step 3 is create a new project. Step 4 is selecting a programming language mode. Step 5 is running the coding result. We will discuss about step 1, install VSCode. Visit the official Visual Studio Code website to get the latest version of the software. Once you have downloaded it, you need to install it. Click the file name Visual Studio Code in your device file manager and run it. Make sure this file is saved in a place where you can easily find it. Congratulations, you can now start your first project. Step 2, install extension. Open Home in the VSCode software, then click the extension icon on the side of the page. You will then be directed to the extension marketplace. Enter the name of the extension you need in the search field. When you find it, click the install button. This process will be successful if you see the extension in the installed tab. Step 3. Create a new project. If you already have a development folder, click the Ctrl+O buttons. Later, you can choose to folder that is already available on your device. To create a new file, simple click Ctrl+N, then write the code you want on the page provided. When you're done, save the file via Ctrl+S. Type the new file name with the appropriate file extension, for example, HTML, CSS, and JSP. Step 4. Selecting a programming language mode. We can change the programming language mode as needed. Press Ctrl+K combination, then press the M button. If so, please select programming language from the list provided. After we create a project, then we have to run it. So the fifth is to running the coding result. After creating and editing the source code, you can immediately run the coding result. You can do this by clicking the Run menu on the toolbar. There are two options you can choose from, namely start debugging and run without debugging. Okay, that's all I can explain about VSCode. That is all my presentation today. If there is something missing, uh, I apologize professionally. Hopefully, what I convey is useful for myself and many people in particular. Thank you.